Who you with, Andy?
Who am I with?
Yeah.
Well, yes, you have Sunny Creek and Riverview Hills. My
Oh,
family.
you live right here.
Yeah, I live in the community
Okay.
area, yeah. Resident.
Thanks.
And ma'am, what's your name, please?
Ashley Sigmund?
All right. Next item, public comment. You want a public comments?
Yeah, I guess. Oh, wait.
I have one. I sent an email this morning to Brian, relative to a denial of a permit application for an open cut for Drainage District 2 in the town of Burnett on County Road I. And, I'm requesting, basically an appeal or review of that decision on behalf of the members of Drainage District number 2 in the town of Burnett. And we're opening bids next, I think it's Wednesday, the 14th, for a major reconstruct of the tile main. And so after that time, we're gonna know specific numbers as to the cost difference between a bore and an open cut at the road. So I'd like to appeal that to the committee at that point in time.
Okay, duly noted. Anyone else?
Yeah, I want to speak to that paving machine. I hear 120,000 you guys want to spend on one now. Like, I can see having an older paving machine for miscellaneous stuff. It's usually who has the older assets, the people who don't use them as much, the people who use them more have the newer assets. I can see having an old one, but to go all out and buy a fancy paving machine that's in good and really nice new condition, I don't think it's viable. In my opinion, if there were to be a culvert that were to collapse on Highway 60 and it's just leveled over with gravel and there's a sign that says loose gravel and it sits that way for 3 months, I would be fine slowing down my vehicle and just driving over some loose gravel if it saves us a little bit of money. The one thing I want to bring up that it just kind of really got my attention at the last meeting here is this was the asphalt machine for $80,000. It brought up a lot of debate, a lot of discussion. This was the Dodge County Highway thing for $18 million, and it was kind of like, well, it looks like it's pretty well distributed around the county. It comes out to about the right amount of money. It looks all good and that kind of thing. And I guess I just want to draw a little bit of light on this. This is a 225 times larger spending than this right here. This, if you figure people working from 20 to 65 and working 2,000 hours a year, $20 an hour, it would take 10 people's lives to earn this much money. This is a really, really big, significant issue. And I just kind of got a vibe. It's like, this was almost put higher than this. And I'm sure you guys had other meetings and I haven't been around for all that, but I just kind of want to draw attention to just how massive of a spending thing this is. 1/4 mile of doing repaving the road is equal to this right here. It's just such a massive spending thing. And I think we have to draw a little bit more attention to it. And I guess it's probably all of our, it's like even the residents here, I can't believe we don't have 40 citizens who are sitting in a meeting where we're discussing spending these massive amounts of money. One spot that I want to draw a little bit of attention to in road spending is, here's the DOT map that's on the highway committee, or the highway department website. And I can understand repaving I, where I goes on BB, because it shows that according to the DOT maps that it's a minor collector of traffic. To go spend the $320,000 a mile to do that section, I can understand it. And to go up to Austin Road, about a half mile east of there to Austin Road, because that goes over the Crawfish River to River Oak subdivision, I think makes sense. The part I want to draw attention to is about 100 feet south of Highway 60 to Austin Road. It's a 3.6 mile section of road. At $320,000 a mile, it's going to cost $1,152,000 to repave it. On that road, there are 7 driveways. That comes out to $164,571 per driveway. According to the DOT map, there's no traffic on that section of road. From my experiences being out there bicycling around and that kind of thing, BB, there's really not much any traffic out there. I just think spending $164,571 per driveway, it's just way too much money. We cannot be spending money like that. And I don't think it's going to ever be feasible to repave that section of road with 2 layers of blacktop. Where just maybe years ago it was when we had very fuel efficient cars and there was a lot of asphalt cement laying around, but ultimately our vehicles are getting more efficient, there's not as much asphalt that's around, and at the end of the day, we just cannot be paving the same amount of roads that we used to. I think we need to focus on just trying to keep the roads paved that are heavily driven by people. But yeah, I just want to bring up, it's a shame that we do not have at least 40 people here discussing it and having debates about which roads should be paved and which roads should not be paved, or more debates, I should say. And I think we need to keep in perspective that this roads is worth equivalents of 10 people's lives labor, and it's worth $18 million.
We're in
This is
public
not
comment
pocket
right
change.
now, Jeff.
It's very, very huge. So that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, AJ. Anyone else?
Actually, you're wrong. There's more than 40 people here. We the people is who I am representing, and we have hundreds of people that are following what's going on. I just want to congratulate the highway department because we the people are getting a little frustrated, not with just the highway department, but with Dodge County government as a whole on what's happening. Wednesday night we had a meeting and we were just blown off. And we're getting used to that, but that has to stop. The highway department, I found out, was quarantined on Monday for 14 days, and on Tuesday the quarantine was over. We the people know how to put 2 and 2 together. I guess government influence has a place. But what I come here today to talk about is spending habits. Spending, because this is an emergency meeting. We need more money because, I don't know if the deal fell through or what, it doesn't matter. But the budget's pressing against us and we need more money. And we the people, who you probably aren't aware of and aren't keeping in touch of, I gave a lot of you a card for the Facebook group, and if you want to hop on there, it's free for you too, because you are a member of Dodge County also. And you can see what's going on apart from in this building with a meeting that's called 36 hours ahead of time on a Friday morning when everybody goes to work. It just doesn't go over well. It's hard to attend. That's why we are here too, instead of working where I should be. But we need to think ahead a little bit. We're looking for more money for a paver, which we knew we needed for 2 years already. Ours went kaput 2 years ago. We borrowed someone else's last year, and I know it's hard. I have to borrow equipment for farming from other farmers. When I need it, they need it. It's hard. I understand that. But maybe we need to just back off a little bit because the economy is not strong right now, and you can't keep taxing your residents more and more just to get what you think you need. You know how many pavers that truck wash would have bought? Probably 4. And now you want to put 2 more, I hear, of those in your shops at $500,000 a crack. We could have 12 pavers here and just buy some good pressure washers, or we have all these people that know how to do things. You could rig up a truck wash, putting nozzles in the ground, high pressure water, and build something like that without all the bells and whistles, I'm sure, for less. And that's how we have to start thinking. That's how we the people have to think out there when we have to pay our own bills and not just tax the next door neighbor for money. So we're bragging about how we are under budget on this nice shop, and it's a nice shop. But what about the 2 weeks that I hear we were hauling fill in here with county men and county trucks? Did that get included in that too? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. We the people are kept in the dark on all these things. So this is concerns, and so we need the paver, and maybe we need to just watch out how we're spending money other places so we can have this kind of money. There's big talk about, well, here's what we the people see. I was driving to take care of some animals on another place, and I drove past 2 really nice county trucks. Just sitting on the side of the road, motors running, drivers in them, everybody playing on their phone. I did my work, came back a good half hour later, and I passed by 2 really nice new trucks sitting on the side of the road, motors running, men inside the cab playing on their phones. This is what people are seeing out there. And this is money. They're not sitting there for free. They're not running trucks for free. This is what's happening out there. Another individual told me that when jobs are assigned sometimes, and there's a lot of people maybe that need work to do, one person could go and do that job, but they'll send two just because they can. I think we have to tighten our belts a little bit. Why do we, the people, have to tighten our belts to pay our bills? And then when we're in public work, in the public sector, it's all good. We, the people, come on our website. We, the people, are expressing our desires and our wishes, and you'll see our frustrations on there too. So we need this paver. Unfortunately, we could have bought a lot of them over the last couple of years already for what we've done here, and still have gotten all our work done. We mentioned last meeting about bids on trucks, new trucks every year. No competitive bids or controlled competitive bids. That has to stop too. We come here and it's a nice shop and put them all together. I heard there was one truck that took over a year to get together because it was special or what, I don't know, but we have this investment sitting here on the floor for a whole year, not using it because we put them together ourselves. Maybe we have to let other people do some of our work. It might be cheaper. Maybe our strategic plan for the highway committee, so we don't run into this problem, could be, maybe for all of Dodge County, we want to spend money on a 5-year strategic plan for the future. How about, let's get out of debt. We need to get all our department heads a copy of a book from Dave Ramsey. He's really good. I don't know if you ever read him. But we are in this together. We don't want to be sitting here always trying to knock, can we come in, can we come in, can we talk to you, can we reason together? We have been locked out. We the people have no voice, even though we're supposed to. And we come every meeting for the past 3 months trying to gain a voice, gain an ear, and we haven't. Wednesday night we were rolled over, and that's why we are here today, imploring again. We have some influence here, we have some ideas, and they aren't that tough. I have a granddaughter, who's 14 years old. She heard 2 facts. Number 1, we need a paver and money for it. Number 2, we just built a $500,000 truck wash. Nobody said anything else. You know what she said? Why did they spend $500,000 on a truck wash when they needed a paver that cost a lot less that could pave all these roads? See, it's not rocket science. But it's fun to have these things. So I would just encourage you to reconsider how business is done, especially in these times that are not easy. They are hard times, and I'm in touch with people that are expressing that. And we need to just take our money and spend it wisely so that we don't have to tax more, or look for the state for more help, because that all goes the wrong direction. Thank you.
Jeff, could I say something, please?
Sure.
Yeah, under public comment. So, what's your name? Is it Andrew?
Mine, Andrew, AJ.
Okay,
Yeah.
AJ.
Yeah.
So, I heard AJ speaking, and I'm not trying to condemn your rationale for justification of cost, but here's the problem with the 3.6 miles of, BB from 60 to River Oaks, okay?
Yeah.
So you really can't break it down to 7 residential entry points. The problem is the section of road, okay, is part of a system, right? It's not an isolated area. And it is not their road, okay? It is the public's road, and it conveys goods and services, has an average daily traffic count of who knows what, 1,000 cars maybe, 350, somewhere in there, right, in between. But there are people who use that road every day. The public use it, and it moves our goods and services and everything else. There's been a substantial investment made to lay that right-of-way or that road, and it was done previously. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was probably laid 20s, maybe earlier than that, and really not many modifications made to it over the last 100 years. In the grand scheme of things, it's probably almost the same corridor. Maybe it's a little wider in places, or straightened and curves change a little to accommodate, you know, higher volumes of traffic and speed and safety and things of that nature. So the problem is the upgrades, you know, we can't break them down to that local level. We have a responsibility for these roads forever. And quite frankly, in order to keep them up, you know, up to standard, it costs a lot of money. That is the way it is. But the cost also has value. When you go and improve that infrastructure, okay, you are employing local material men and suppliers, you know, aggregate producers, you know, the paving guys, whatever. Folks are working. It's not just money that's tossed into the wind. And besides that, then the value comes out in the safety and the fact that you're not beating the snot out of everybody's car and motorcycle and truck that runs up and down that road. Not to mention the access to all of that agricultural land that surrounds those roads. You know, and that is our conduit to New York City. They need the food, right? In order to get it out of the field and get it to New York City, it's got to go down County Road BB. And there is an expense to it. And the borrowing, as far as I'm concerned, and I've said it many times, the obligation doesn't go away. It does not. Now, I can battle about every little extra dime or nickel that's spent in Juneau, and there's a lot of them, and I could fight all day about those, but I'm not going to win those battles. I still swing the bat, you know, and there's no question we could probably find $18 million in the budget and do those roads. The problem is there's another 18 million behind those, and another behind that, and another behind that. It doesn't go away. So from my perspective, to break it down to 7 residential entrances, it just, you're missing kind of the big picture, in my opinion.
And I guess for me, I'm just looking at the map. This map says there's no traffic out there. I don't see much traffic out there. And I'm thinking, especially if we have, I don't know if it's going to happen.
But that's your perspective today. Then, once the road is done, then it's gonna be, I was out there walking my dog and people are driving by at 80 miles an hour, and by God, somebody's gotta do something, you know? And the road's unsafe, it's rutted and it's rough and they're driving too fast.
And yeah,
And they dragged another guy out of the ditch yesterday, you know? So, it's a paradigm that we're kinda stuck with.
and even we have an Amish community to a mile to the east of there.
Right.
They have a slower going road for the
And
buggies
they pay
would
no
be
road
good.
tax.
Excuse
Yeah,
me,
you know.
this is supposed to be public
Okay.
comments directly.
Right, I get it.
Not a debate between people in the audience. So, appreciate all your comments, certainly will take them under advisement. But I would like to move on to the next item of this agenda. Review, consider, and possibly take action on the following used paver quotation.
Okay, again, thank you for making time to visit here for an hour or so and discuss an opportunity that came along very recently, obviously since we met last. I think it's a very good opportunity that deserves some discussions. The opportunity is to buy a 2017 Volvo paver with 93 hours on it and still has some remaining warranty. Very unique opportunity. I sent photographs to members that can pass these around. The machine's up in our Mayville was up in our Mayville shop yesterday. I went up there and took a look at it. It's incredible. The opportunity we have here.
You seen it?
Our guys are out being trained on it today as a demonstration to put it through its paces and to see if it's everything that we believe it is. Opportunities like this don't come along very often. If this machine were out on the open market, it'd be listed for $327,000. We have the opportunity to buy it for $150,000. How and why? Kind of being in the right place at the right time. Volvo has a fleet of demonstrator pavers that they move throughout the country. Pavers aren't something vendors or dealers have in stock because there's so many different options on them that to speculate on what I should have in stock for any given contractor is an expensive gamble, and you'll be wrong many, many times. So The factory owns these demonstrator models, they move them throughout the country as they're needed, and every couple of years they replace them. We were in the right place at the right time, our salesman knew we were in the market for a paver. He found the one in Florida, he was getting aggravated with getting a hold on that, and while he was talking to some Volvo reps, they said, hey, how about this one? It's a little more money, but it's a much newer, better value. It's got 93 hours on it, are you interested in this? No, let's get him to have a look at it. So he did, he got it here, we got it before you. I think it's a very exceptional opportunity. Again, being in the right place at the right time. I just feel it's something that needs to be discussed. These opportunities don't come along very often. This paver, if we chose to buy it, would serve Dodge County for many, many years. And it's got the modern technology. It can and will accept the computer-controlled automatic sensors if you want, the sonics. You could add that at any time. I don't think we need it today, but if we evolve our paving program into more, we're borrowing money, we're doing more work. I don't know what the future holds for us doing more paving, but this machine, at its current price and its very, very low hours of use, is a very unique opportunity that doesn't come along very often. And I bring it to you for your consideration and discussion.
I guess for the benefit of the audience, the reason this meeting was called is not because they're trying to pull anything, but if we did not act on this paver very quickly, it would be sold to someone else. So we figured this is a very unique opportunity, and it warranted calling a special meeting to discuss it so we could make the decision whether we wanted to move forward with this for Dodge County. The one for $80,000, that I guess it's not even available anymore. Somebody else got that the way it sounds. So that's not even an option any longer. And really, at the end of the day, this machine is a far better value with such low hours. The other one had, 3,500 hours on. This has got 93 hours on. Virtually a new machine. It's a few years old, but it's virtually a new machine. Do the same thing as a new machine will for a third to half of the price. So.
And I guess I would also say we have the money in the 2020 budget. We're not asking for any more money. We had $100,000 initially for a used paver in the 2020 budget. We kind of put it on hold here when the coronavirus started and the uncertainties that went with that. So we just put the money on hold. We also chose not to buy a tractor this year for $110,000. So we have the money in our capital account. It's not like we're asking for any more money at all. We're asking to, and we adjusted next year's budget request and took $150,000 out of the equipment budget if we buy a paver this year. But we're not asking for another dime. We're asking to consider taking advantage of a very good opportunity.
Any comments from, go ahead, please.
If we budgeted $100,000 for a blacktopper, my question is, why are we pursuing to purchase a bid for a blacktopper for $150 when we budgeted $100 specifically? And our budget process or our bidding process is being squelched again as far as I'm concerned. This should be put out for bid, and it's not. In the same fashion, we play the same game with Northeast Asphalt and Grease Truck. It's about time our bidding game starts to change here. The public is pissed off. We better start with this one. That's all I got to say. I mean, if we need a blacktopper, that $80,000 was a stretch for me in the first place. And with the amount of use that we're giving these things, this blacktopping probably should be looked at as far as being farmed out and bid it out to the private sector to get out of the game altogether. I think we're snowballing the public on buying equipment that we probably don't even need. I think it's time we wake up. If we budget $100,000 for this blacktopper, and now we're covering up for the fact that we're not buying a tractor, that there's a reason to spend $150,000 on a piece of equipment that probably is all cut and dried. It's a bunch of hooey. I think we better start thinking about maybe leasing something and waiting until spring and contracting this out to the private sector. We've destroyed the bidding process by falling in love with Northeast Asphalt, and all the other contractors don't want to bid on anything because they're sick and tired of the games that Dodge County is playing. So consequently, you can't get a bid. We destroyed the bid process for the truck. We destroyed the bid process for the blacktop. by the time we wake up and smell the coffee. So that's what my comment is, I'll continue to listen.
Okay, thank you for your comments. I did take the opportunity to speak to one of our soups because, you know, when the decision was made to put the original paver on hold due to coronavirus and not knowing what was going to happen with the revenues, they said they struggled something horrible trying to get contractors to help them when they needed to get, you know, safety patches done and culverts paved. They couldn't get the people, so they're all set up to do the work and then they can't get a paver. So I think having our own paver that can do these small jobs is going to improve the efficiency of Dodge County, is going to keep our people working. And it just seems like this is, while it's not a bid, you know, certainly by looking at the open market, you can see what stuff is doing, what pricing the stuff is. And this is a,
Blacktop plants is gonna be closed in a month, Jeff. We're gonna be sitting on a piece of equipment for $150,000 all winter long. That's not gonna have any use. And, you know, with the mileage that this thing is receiving, we should be monitoring this in tons. How many tons of blacktop go through these things? You know, I still think that this whole process should be put out to bid to the private sector and open up our bidding process, whether or not it's our bidding process for the road specifications and our trucks, the whole 9 yards. We're playing a closed game with the bidding process, and it's time that it stops.
any other comments from anybody from the committee?
I would just like to fill in a couple of blanks here, if I could.
Please.
First of all, I think we need to recognize why we, as a highway department, feel a paver is something we need to own. We don't pave mile after mile after mile. We're not efficient at that, so we contract that out. But we do pave a minimum of 75 different areas throughout the year. And they're generated by a safety need on a terribly rutted road that needs some attention, that needs a paver in it. Anytime we replace a pipe, we need the paver. We did talk to some contractors about giving them this list as it evolves throughout the season. It's not something you can put together. Our engineer can't put this list together in February and bid it out like we do a project. It doesn't work that way. These things occur. We have a collapse in a road. We have a pipe we need to replace. These things just occur throughout the season. If we could script it, it would be great. That's not reality. This is maintenance, not construction. So we'll do at least 75 different areas throughout the year. Getting a paver during the paver season is proven to be damn near impossible. We did that this year. Very unsuccessfully, I might add. So we do believe a county our size, 545 miles of county road, it's responsible to have a paver to go out and react to these problems as they occur timely to keep our road system safe. We're a very large county. We should own a paver. So that's why we're proposing owning a paver. We tried it without, again, unsuccessfully. So I wanted to mention that and just kind of address that. As far as bidding a used paver, that doesn't, again, you can't write a spec on a used paver because the size, the age, the functionality, the options are far and wide. So to write a spec, competitive spec on used equipment is not practical. We did seek quotes from anybody and everybody in the equipment business. If you have any availability on used pavers, please share that with us. It's been very quiet all year long. Used pavers are kind of a unique situation, unless you want to buy very old, very tired pavers. Contractors buy them and they run wheels off them. This is a good opportunity. It doesn't come along very often and would be impossible to bid. Those are just a couple of things I wanted to mention. Thank you.
This is Gail with a comment. I kind of, after Jeff explained this to me, I kind of look at this as an opportunity, more or less than expenditure. Sometimes these opportunities don't come along very often. And I think it will improve the efficiency of the crews so much that they know exactly what paper can be there, they can schedule everything, and I think it would save money on a lot of projects. And I think it would last a long time
Thank you, Dale. Anyone else?
The only thing I got to say is, we're gonna have to bring it back every day and put it behind the fence, because the problem we had was back.
Good point.
That's right, Dick, you know, we don't want this one to get vandalized and. Dave, you got any?
Yeah, I do think it is a better deal than the 80,000. I think long term it would serve the county better than the other one would anyway. A little more money up front, but I think long term it saves us money, and I think that's probably the right way to go.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, you know, this is an opportunity that comes along very rarely, that you can get this late of a machine for this kind of a value. I'll recognize Josh.
Thanks, Jeff. I have a couple of questions. Brian, how long does the warranty run on this machine yet? And is it relative to time, or is it relative to the hours?
It's time. The powertrain warranty is until May of 21. The emission warranty until July of 24.
Okay. So the problem I see with that is this: the powertrain will expire by the time you can use it. Okay, so that's kind of out of the picture because of what Supervisor Barris mentioned, the fact that basically the asphalt plants are closing in a month, and frankly, you're going to be winding down with your other maintenance operations and gearing up for the snow removal season, so you're not going to have time to really pay it. So I don't really see that as a benefit. The emissions thing I get because it's too new. You know, that's the way I view it.
And that's where
You know,
that's where you'll use
I
your
understand that. So, my other comments are this. So, I know, Brian, you know, you're passionate about the fact of having a machine available to do small patchwork when it comes up and arises. I can tell you this. So, other utilities, I don't care if they're gas pipeline utilities, I don't care if they're the railroads, anyone who crosses a road anywhere on the planet, usually what they do is they advance bid, crossing work or whatever else on a patchwork basis. They solicit proposals from various pavers in that area, and they keep them on file. Then when that arises, they call that guy up and they say, you gotta come in, you gotta do this, and you quoted us XYZ a ton or square foot or square yard or whatever. I do believe the county could move toward that. Like you say, you can't call them up the day you need a culvert patched, but in February or January, you could prepare different segments of the county saying, if we needed patch over a culvert, it's XYZ per square foot or square yard at 4 inches thick or whatever, right? With such a mix. And then the same thing for wedging or filling in wheel ruts. You could do it, and I understand pavers don't really like it to do the wheel rutting thing because they don't get the quantity. So how do you bid by the ton? Well, then you got to have kind of a daily fee for the crew, and then XYZ per ton for the mix in order to go do, 2 miles on some road that's all rutted up. But there are ways to do it without ever owning a paver, in my opinion. I'm not saying you're going to go that way, but I just think to buy one right now, and I understand it's the end of the season. It's a closeout price. I get it. But you can't take advantage of your investment until May or June when the asphalt plants open up. And that's why it's the price it is. So consequently, when you want to buy a paver in May or June, they're going to be more money. It's like buying a combine in the middle of harvest. So I don't know. I just think there's other ways to look at it. is what I'm trying to say.
All right. Thank you for your comments. Any other comments, thoughts from the committee?
Well, I have a comment.
Yes.
When you compare it to a combine, any agricultural person knows that you gotta run so many bushels through that unit to pay for it. So consequently, it forces the person to be a contract worker or go do contract work to justify the expense. So when you compare a combine, sure, it might sit 3/4 of the year, but you know, like this time of year, they're running like crazy. You gotta spread them over so many acres. But when we're using this paver, we're using it a little bit here, a little bit there. And does it warrant anything? I mean, does it warrant the investment? I don't believe it does. I think there's ways that we can go out and seek bids from private sector people to go out and do these little private patches or little, public patches, or whatever you wanna call them, and not have any investment at all. But we have to be willing to open up our bid process, and that's where I think we've got a major problem. Thank you.
Okay. All right. There's no other discussion. I would entertain a motion. Dick, okay, go ahead.
I got a comment to make. All the equipment I bought over the years, warranty, it usually happens within the first 100 hours. And usually the newest equipment, the first couple months is the problems, and usually after the first year, there's no major problems in all the trucks and combines and whatever tractors they've had over the years. Thank you.
Okay.
Brian, is there a chance to negotiate extended warranty?
I can ask.
I think, it would be wise to, ask for a season use warranty.
Certainly. Being it is so close to the end of the season, and not, like I said, not gonna really have much opportunity. If they would do that, that would certainly be helpful.
I have a hard time hearing whatever, Mr. Ford was saying.
Mr. Froling asked if the dealer would consider extending the powertrain warranty through next season, being we're so close to the end of the season at this point.
Okay.
Brian said he would definitely ask and see if there's an opportunity for that.
Has there ever been any opportunity to ask the dealer if he would take 100,000, exactly the money that we budgeted for this machine?
He'll sell it this afternoon if we don't take it.
There's people lined up for it. It's on hold for us. If we don't take it, it'll be gone before they.
That sounds like salesman talk to me, but that's my opinion.
This time it's true.
Yeah, well, this time it's, okay,
Okay. What's your pleasure, gentlemen? Go ahead, I'm sorry, did it interrupt you? Go ahead, Dick.
Most companies do offer extended warranty at a price.
Yeah.
We'd hope we could get them to throw it in on this deal, but yes.
I am definitely not big on buying extended warranty.
No.
I know what the margins are.
Yes, right. You got money on the extended warranties. You gotta buy them.
You got that right. I've never used it.
I agree.
Okay. At this point, if there's no other discussion, I would entertain a motion.
I will move to forward this to the county board.
All right, motion by Dave Froling. Is there a second?
Second by Dick.
Okay, second by Dick Fink. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Okay. One nay, that was Jeff Barris, correct?
Yes, you bet.
All right. Motion carries.
Well, it's up to the budgeted amount.
Motion carries to present this to the county board for their consideration.
Okay.
All right.
ago, Dick, they said 100,000 budgeted for this.
Now it's
That was
the
2020.
budget. The budget we're working on right now.
That is correct.
So then what you're saying is the 20 budget is budgeted for 100,000, now it's up to 150,000 in the 21 budget? Is that what you're saying?
But we-
That's,
That's what the numbers now.
I got a question. Can you then take that 150K or whatever it is in 2021 and slide it into the roads?
We already did.
You already did?
We already did. Yep,
Okay.
that was my motion at the last meeting.
So this thing originally was put in the budget, what was the budget amount?
the budget amount
100,000.
in the 2020 budget was 100,000. But because we expected to buy the lesser one that we were originally looking at. Unfortunately, that one is no longer available, but this deal came along and it's a much better deal. So there was a utility
We
truck
have the, does this
and
have
a
to be
tractor.
approved by the county board, is the expenditure over 150,000?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
All right. I will declare the meeting adjourned at 9:12. Thank you, everyone, for your attendance and appreciate
I
everything.
got a question yet.
Sure.
Do you have to sign something before the?
Is now ended.
Yeah, there'll be a resolution that will skip to you guys to get a signature, yes.
Okay. We're quarantined, so we can't meet anywhere, so.
Yeah, we'll get it to you guys somewhere.
Well, it only needs one signature to get to the board, and then you can do it from there.
That's true.
Well, the board meeting is when? We're out of here the 15th, I guess, huh?
Board meeting is the 20th. Board meeting is the 20th.
Kind of,
Yeah, we can get it
Yeah,
to you,
we'll
or
have-
you can stop in by Karen. She'll have them.
okay, I can do that. I can do that the 15th or 16th.
Okay,
fair
thank you.
enough.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Made the motion last time to take the 150.
This is no fun at all, thank you.
No, thank you.
Out of
Dave.
equipment and put it in the,
Thank you, Dale.
Thank you.